toasting. Yeah, that's what we do. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, make that cherry glow. Whiskey and cigars, the gentleman's cologne.
Cheers, y'all. Well. That sounds like a party, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine podcast, radio program, and video extravaganza known internationally as the world-famous Smokin' and Toastin'. I put them in the wrong order this time. It almost threw me off. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is show number 404 of Smokin' and Toastin'. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And being at show number 404, I defer to my friend and co-host.
Once we do the math, carry the 3 minus 2. That's the exact halfway point to 500.
Yeah. I told you I've been reading the some of the comments on the YouTube site, and apparently there is at least one person who's a little frustrated with us continuing that joke
with our new math.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I have to explain to him what, and I know you agree with this, Ian, but one of the central concepts of this show is that jokes become funnier the more times you tell them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so once we have established that as a ground rule, you know whether you want to listen any further.
These are jokes through attrition, man.
That's right. Eventually, you're going to laugh. That's the way we look at it. Our show today is, I think, going to be a really good one because we are proud to welcome our special guest, Mr. James. Is it Caronna or Caronna?
Caronna.
Mr. James Caronna from the Still Austin Distillery. It's actually the Still Austin Whiskey Company. Is that the correct name?
That's the legal name.
That's the legal name. Okay. Well, in any case, it's Still Austin, and we are familiar with Still Austin because Ian, on one of his trips to Austin, managed to bring some back, which we tasted on the show and went absolutely crazy for.
Oh, I sent a friend of mine that lives in Austin. I was like, hey, man, you got to go by this distillery and pick up one of their barrel picks.
Yeah.
Because they do a barrel pick every month. And he goes, oh, okay, send me an address. So I sent it to him. And he calls me back a little later. He goes, turns out I've been drunk there quite a few times. He goes, but I got your bottle. I was like, all right.
It's a good test of friendship. Like, somebody's a true friend if they will go and pick up a barrel pick for you.
Yes.
Yes. That's a good friendship test. If they're like, I don't know, I'm really busy. You're like, okay, move that to the secondary list of friends. There's friends, secondary friends, and acquaintances. Yeah, you are now in the secondary friends
Now
group.
I'm calling people that I know have moved to Austin and hadn't talked to them in 20 years.
Hey, man, how you doing? How's everything? How's that music career working out for you? I am excited to say that we're going to be tasting, in addition to Still Austin whiskeys, we're going to be tasting some beers today.
I like beer.
Interestingly enough,
Still like beer.
Austin seems to be a kind of a sort of a coordinating point for the show today, because the first beer we're going to taste today is from Jester King in Austin, Texas.
Oh, Jester King.
And we'll be tasting their Hazy IPA. And it doesn't have some crazy fancy name. It's just Jester King Hazy IPA.
That's funny because usually they have crazy fancy names.
That's
usually
right.
They're in bombers.
Yeah.
And they're outrageous beers.
Yeah, exactly. But in this case, it's very straightforward. From Milton, Delaware, and a place you are familiar with, my friend, called the Dogfish Head Brewing Company. Mm-hmm. Being as we are now edging our way into the fall season, we'll be tasting their pumpkin ale. It's a brown ale with pumpkin. So
we didn't do a pumpkin ale tasting this year. We've done that before.
No, we did do Oktoberfest last week, which was
a lot of Oktoberfest.
Barely in time, but a lot of Oktoberfest. Yeah,
a lot of Oktoberfest.
And I'd like to thank my Uber driver for getting me home safely after last week's show. Then from Lumberbeard Brewing, this will be our first beer we've tried.
Lumberbeard?
Yeah, Lumberbeard, and you'll see when we get to the can, it's got the outline of the guy with the lumber beard. If you,
okay. I didn't know if they were making a play off of the Tolkien character.
Oh,
Treebeard.
That could be true. But anyway, Lumberbeard Brewing will be trying their year 2 anniversary ale. It is a bourbon barrel aged barley wine.
You had me at bourbon
I
barrel.
know. Yeah, no, I had you at barley wine. That's I know
That's the whole name.
the minute I say barley wine, I know Ian's like, okay, I won't be leaving the show.
Wines.
I won't be leaving the show early today. So we'll talk about
That's like saving that one hit song till the end.
That's right. That's right. I've told you about the time it was back when I was
The
in
one song I came to hear.
back when I was in Top 40 Radio. I think I was in San Antonio. There was this band that came out and they had this one like really big hit. It was just this dance pop band, the kind where they come out and play to a backing track right when they perform. And so they came. I may have told the story before, but we had them for some radio station event, and they came out and they opened with their hit. I was like, well, this is interesting. Where are they going to go from here? And so they opened with their hit, and then they played another song, and then they played their hit again.
Oh, okay.
and then they played one other song, and then you hear the hit start again, and the guy goes, "This is the extended dance version." And they did the 7.5 minute long version of their hit.
Because it's not actually different. It's just more.
Longer, yeah. And so then they wave, "Thank you very much," and the crowd cheers, and they leave the stage, and the crowd is like still cheering to see if they're going to come back from an encore. They come back for the encore, and the music starts, and it's the hit again.
Listen, guys, we have 2 songs. How are we going to arrange this show? You can see that corporate meeting in the back.
Yeah. How do we get to make a 20-minute set out of this one song? We'll figure it out. We also will bring you our most popular segment of the program, which we do in hour 2 of the show. It's a little thing called Drinking News. It's where we bring you a story from the news that is sometimes but not always about drinking, but is always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And by then we'll have tasted at least several of the Still Austin expressions. So we'll be right in there. But today's Drinking News teaser headline is Captain Kirk is a frog, and where do church keep money? So we'll look forward to that. Also, a little teaser for our drinking fact, which we'll do here in just a moment. But our drinking fact teaser is oops. That's it.
I was waiting for the I did it again or something.
Anything.
Just oops. We'll tell you about some cigars to watch for.
That was called a pregnant pause, by the way.
Yeah, we'll tell you about some cigars to watch for, and as we love to do in our first segment here, we brought in an unknown libation, and it is what we call here on the program
the beverage of mystery.
The beverage of mystery. So only one of us knows whoever brought it, what this is. That would be me today.
The person
And
what brung it.
What brung it? Yes, that would be me today. And sometimes the beverage of mystery is pretty good.
It's very fruity.
Sometimes sometimes it's not good
I'm
at
a
all.
little split on this because, like, on one nose, so to speak, it's very fruity, but it also has a little bit of a malt beverage.
It smells like straight tang to me.
Yeah, it really does. I agree there.
Well,
Tang.
It smells like Tang with underlying Colt 45 to me.
Tang with sadness.
I like that. But actually, I will say after sipping it, this is actually, I think, one of the better beverages of mystery we've had in a while.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it tastes better than it smells.
It does have a little, it has some tang-ishness to it, but it isn't that orangey tang.
Some coconut on the end?
Yes, that has to be.
And by coconut, I mean sunscreen.
Yeah. Yes. SPF.
Yeah, that's an SPF 40 if I'm correct.
Exactly.
On
Yeah.
mine.
Oh, it does. When you let it linger a little bit, boy,
It's the after.
It turns right
You have
into
to let it
that.
linger.
Yeah.
Copper tone beverage. Most
You got to
kids-
wonder if a little ice will take care of some of that.
It would probably help a little bit.
Although I feel like I have full coverage on my tongue now.
So it is time now for the mystery beverage reveal, or what we like to call, is that a beverage of mystery can in your pocket, or you just happy to see me? And our beverage of mystery is a painkiller cocktail, craft cocktail. And it is from Spindletap.
from Spindle Tap.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot of those
actually
recently.
Yeah. Spindle Tap Brewing is the it's 10%, Ian, and I'll hand this over to you, but it's a painkiller. And one of the reasons that I bought this is because anytime I actually have a painkiller, it reminds me of my trip to the Virgin Islands.
When you let it linger,
many of them. Yeah.
When you let it linger a really long time on the tongue, it becomes a little bit of a baby aspirin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that right.
An actual painkiller.
An actual
I was
painkiller.
going to say, my painkillers are
You're right.
normally Vicodin, but
Well, I will say as canned cocktails.
This elevated twist on a classic combines the best of the old school recipe with the new school techniques. Our malt beverage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's that key word.
Beverage.
What does it say?
So it's not really a
malt
canned
beverage.
cocktail then if it's a malt beverage.
yeah.
Oh, I think it's
Yeah.
rides. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's hard to read. Rides the waves of the island while dripping with delicate tropical flavor.
So it calls itself a canned cocktail, but again, if it's a malt beverage, it's not really a canned cocktail. It's a malt beverage that's imitating a canned
I
cocktail.
think my nose was actually correct on this one.
Yeah?
This is fruity with Colt 45 underneath.
well, you got the malt there.
I will still
Malted.
say this is
beverage.
better than many of the things we've had as a beverage mystery.
Agreed. This is actually drinkable. It is a little bit of, like I said, the baby aspirin thing is
Well,
kind of
you know,
funny on the
I
end.
think the
I
fact
can't
is that
Do you
taste
remember
that.
though? Okay,
it doesn't give you the sweet thing that some of the canned cocktails, the fake sweetness, and the malt probably does
Right.
that. But the baby aspirin probably comes from whatever sweetness
The
that they
aspartame-
did.
I was gonna say
use
the
to get out of
aspartame.
it.
Yeah, the aspartame is replaced by baby aspirin.
By baby
Yeah.
aspirin.
In
Yeah.
terms of
You remember
lingering.
but you remember the I guess it was a beer that we had that was the painkiller that came with the
Oh no, that was wonderful. It came with one of the nuts, like a nutmeg.
nutmeg.
nut,
Oh, yeah.
which was educational for me because I didn't know nutmeg was actually a nut, but it was, and you had a little grater.
Yeah.
And once you poured the beer,
well,
you would
I didn't
grate
have
the-
a little grater. I had a pocket knife, but it worked.
That's
the same
right.
thing.
You're right. It didn't
The
come
one you
with a
clean
grater.
your nails with.
Yeah,
We shaved nutmeg onto our beers with.
it didn't come with a grater, but you improvised and did well, my friend.
I
That
should
was
keep
a
my knife pretty good.
that was a great beer with some kind of a
That
tiki
was
beer.
amazing.
Yeah.
This falls a little short of that, but it is drinkable. I will say for what they call a craft cocktail, it is a drinkable thing. It is 10%, so it's also effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's going to get you there.
Yeah, right. And I would think ice cold would be best, and over
Yeah.
ice maybe even better.
Maybe over ice. I bet over ice would kill a lot of that baby aspirin kind of aftertaste.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's always interesting to me how these things get to market. I mean, I could see this one passing and getting to market.
It gets
But
an okay for sure.
The one we had a couple of weeks ago, though, from Flying Embers,
Yeah.
that
So
daiquiri one. How did that
It's so
get to
bad.
How
Weeks later, we're talking about it.
Right? How did it get? Who sat around the boardroom when they brought it in and had everybody?
Nobody
taste it
that's
and
ever
went,
had a daiquiri. That's for sure.
and went, okay, yeah, let's get this out there. Let's take it to market.
It's usually the suits. I don't know what D or QE is, but this is great. Send it out.
Exactly. Hey, we do.
The ants like it. Look at they're pulling right around there.
We do want to give a big thanks, by the way, to last week's special guest, Sarah Troxel from Iconic Brands and Bombay Sapphire Gin. We tasted
She's
some
the best.
good gin. last week.
She's awesome.
nice.
We had such fun.
Great fun. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we'll find out what Ian had the opportunity to smoke this week, and it won't be long before we get started doing some whiskey tasting. Still Austin, I'm very excited, and I'm looking at the bottle you got sitting in front of you there, James, and it says Monster Mash, so I'm excited to see what that's all about. So we'll get to that coming up. You are listening to and watching Smoking and Toasting, show number 404, and we will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Smoking and Toasting, show number 404. We are all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
And now it's time for another Smoking and Toasting Drinking Fact.
Just so you know, we would have discontinued this feature a long time ago, except we just love that fanfare so much. We just have to hear it over and over again. And I couldn't think of a good excuse to play it if we weren't doing the drinking fact. So today's drinking fact, here you go. Remember, my teaser for this was just oops.
Yes.
Yeah. The drinking fact is an attempt to set the Guinness World Record for the world's most expensive cocktail was thwarted when a customer dropped and broke a bottle of cognac that was worth $77,000.
Oh!
I've done stupid things before, but how would you like to be that guy, right?
Whoops.
Oops.
You're right. That was a perfect teaser. Oops.
I couldn't
Do
think of
you
anything better.
suppose? Well, he was a customer, not an employee.
I said it was a customer dropped and broke a bottle of cognac.
Why did you hand the customer that bottle?
So
exactly.
somebody got fired over that.
Yeah. Here, take this over to the guy who's making the cocktails. Sure. Yeah. And most notably, it thwarted the effort, which means they didn't go with a second bottle of $77,000.
They didn't have a backup bottle, $77,000 bottle on them?
All right, we're going to try to make this, and now we're just going to use this.
There's something to be said for the absorbent nature of a towel.
Yeah.
And
then just wring it out into the
maybe
cocktail.
wring it out into your mouth.
Maybe that'll
Or
work.
into the cocktail.
I can't say I have broke a full bottle of Louis Trey at a bar once that I was managing. So
Oh, man. And what's a bottle of that worth?
that's only about $4,000, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's rough. Did you get fired?
I broke the bottle. I walked straight outside. I called the owner. I go, I broke the bottle of Louis Trey. And he goes, I'll be right there. He goes, if it were anyone else, they'd have been fired. You're good.
Well, see that. You must have been a valued employee. So, all right, Ian, I know it's been a crazy week, but have you had the opportunity to smoke anything interesting?
Well, it's funny you should ask.
Yeah.
Especially so close to Halloween just passed.
Oh. Did you smoke a filthy gooligan?
Tatuaje, the Drac.
Oh.
This is part of their monster
We
series.
talked about this last week, their monster series, yeah.
This is the Redux. It's a Bellicoso coming in at 6 3/4 inches by 52 with an Ecuadorian Habano Maduro wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound delicious.
No, not at all.
The appearance on this dark espresso brown, toothy, oily, and veiny wrapper, firm, somewhat lumpy, simple black and blood red band. Prelate sniff on this, earthy leather barnyard sweet mocha coffee. Prelate draw, sweet mocha coffee, earthy and leathery. I just basically said the same thing with a kiss of wood. I just turned it around a little bit. The initial light on this used a clip. It had an effortless draw. Sweet coffee and pepper draws you in. Cedar and oak lock you into this monstrous cigar. Retrohale is wood, leather, and pepper.
Nice.
The first third of this alluring cigar, immediately capturing the senses with a charming mocha and sweet coffee, followed stealthily by leather and oak. A dark pall of leather and pepper hang over the entire palate. Retrohale is oak, toast, and pepper. Appallingly solid ash, razor burn.
You're making this very Halloween-ish. Since Halloween was just a couple of days ago, this is very fitting.
The second third of this, surrounded by a creeping fog of cigar smoke, the senses are seduced by dark coffee sweetness, oak, and gossamer notes of leather and earth, while dark fruit and a shadow of licorice tease the lips.
I see what you did there.
The retrohale is scintillatingly sweet, oak, toast, and pepper, ghoulishly solid ash, razor burn.
I'm already feeling like my cigar review is not going to come anywhere close.
The last third of this, held captive by torrents of taste, this full flavored fiend finds its final resting place with mounds of oak, earth, leather, and sweet coffee with lurking wisps of chocolate, mocha, toast, and pepper. Retrohale is bitter, sweet oak, toast, leather, and pepper, ghostly solid ash, razor burn. Coming in at $13. I give it a 5.5. It was outrageous.
Very nice. Very nice. So
also smoked for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Not bad. Not bad. The way the price to quality scale works, James, is it's a 1 to 10 scale, but a 5 means you got exactly what you paid for. So if it scores anywhere above a 5, that's meaning it punched a little above its weight class. And at $13, if it punches above a 5, that's saying quite a bit.
I'm just trying to think of another product that the positive descriptor would be veiny.
Well, one comes to mind, and I won't
I can think of one, but
yes, but all those websites
end
with the name Hub.
Yeah, exactly. But you know how that works. Well, I feel like after that, I should just say the cigar I smoked this week was good. That's it. That's all I have. Good. That's all I have. I might as well not even try.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you've got your Edgar Allan Poe ready to go.
Yeah, you're not going to top his description.
Thus quoth AJ Fernandez, nevermore. We will take a break and we will be right back. I will tell you what I smoked this week, and we'll get started doing a little whiskey tasting, which I'm very excited about. Still Austin in the house with James Caronna, and we will be right back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. I think you got a little beer on your ukulele there with that.
It happens all the time. There's if you look at it in the light, there's little beer spots.
Beer spots everywhere. I love it. And makes it authentic. Pretty soon it'll be like Willie Nelson's guitar.
That's right.
Trigger. That's the name.
It's a trigger, right?
Well, welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting, show number 404. We are all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. I had a hand-rolled cigar this week that I want to tell you about, but I want to start off my cigar tasting notes this week with an email that I received a while back. You guys are always welcome to email Ian or myself, and the address is ST, which stands for Smoking and Toasting, ST@rfcmedia.com. My email from someone who I believe is named Johnny, or at least that's what it looks like in his email address. It reads like this. Hey, Cruz. I enjoy catching your show when I can, and I'm a big fan of drinking news. But I have to ask you, what's the deal with your obsession with AJ Fernandez and his cigars? Do you work for his company or something? Seems like about every other cigar you review has something to do with AJ. Just wondering. Well, Johnny,
that's not entirely your fault, by the way.
Yeah.
Almost every other cigar that's out there has something to do with it.
He's connected here.
I remember one time you were actually actively trying not to smoke AJs,
and I kept coming across them.
Across them. If you deep dove into where it was, he touched them somewhere.
Well, Johnny, let me explain something that might help answer your question. Despite the fact that our show, Smoking and Toasting, brings in literally dozens of dollars a year, we still don't have enough in the petty cash fund to buy the cigars that we talk about each week. So Ian and I both pay for these cigars out of our own pockets. And as for me, when I buy cigars, I generally try to buy things that I think I'm going to like. And I like AJ Fernandez's cigars.
As funny as doing a bash interview or bash review can be, I just don't want to spend my money on it. I want to spend money on something that looks pretty good.
So I buy a lot of AJ cigars. And if I haven't reviewed them yet here on the show, I will talk about them. So, I wish I had an unlimited cigar budget and could just go out and buy stuff without worrying about whether I'd like it or not. And sometimes I actually do. But I'll tell you what, anybody that wants us to review a particular cigar, feel free to send us one.
100%.
You can send one to both of us, or just to Ian, or just to me, and you can let us know who you'd like to have review the cigar. We will be more than happy to smoke it and tell you what we think. The address is Smoking and Toasting, 4544 Post Oak Place, number 333, Houston, Texas, 77027. So send away. Hell, I'll even review a Gurkha, but you have to buy it. Somebody else has to buy it, not me. So, all right. So if that little preamble and shameless request for listeners to send in cigars didn't give it away, I am going to talk today about another cigar that was blended by AJ Fernandez, along, in this case, with his good friend Rafael Nodal, and that cigar is the Trinidad Espiritu Series 3.
Oh,
now,
I like the Trinidad.
I have reviewed the Series 1 and 2 here before, but the timing is perfect to do Series 3 today, because today is Dia de los Muertos, which is Spanish for Dia of los Muertos.
Yes.
Okay, this one I actually know. It's the Day of the Dead. It's the Mexican celebration of deceased friends and family, and this particular blend was developed by Rafael and AJ to honor this holiday and tradition. To that end, it uses a Mexican San Andres wrapper leaf over filler and binder from Nicaragua, and it is a beauty, as you will see here, of a box-pressed cigar. Really nice, multicolored double bands and a smooth, chocolatey wrapper. It's just begging to be smoked. The pre-light aroma combined a little bit of barnyard with distinct earthy notes and also a little bit of baking chocolate. The cold draw was earthy with a hint of cedar and just the slightest floral note. I lit the Series 3 and bada bing, bada boom, a brief but absolutely recognizable Nicaraguan pepper blast. You going there?
MPB makes me feel fine.
I still don't know if you've got that chord right, that second chord. Are you sure that's the right chord?
Close enough.
You're right. It's close enough for that awful song. Nobody really needs to even get it right. It doesn't help. The blast settled down quickly, though, and I began to really enjoy the first third. Cedar, earth, and a subtle note of baking chocolate, much like what I detected in the pre-light, but much more pronounced once the cigar was lit and smoking. Second third, a leather note joined the party, along with toasted nuts and more earth and pepper. The final third took a few twists and turns and offered me notes of chocolate, leather, spice, dried fruit, and, of course, pepper. Construction, as you'll see here, was spot on. The draw was perfect, and the burn was nice and even all the way down to the nub. Not surprisingly, the Trinidad Espiritu Series 3 Toro was medium to full-bodied, right in my sweet spot. Fabulous cigar. This cigar, in the Toro size, retails about $11. But there are deals to be had out there. I paid closer to $7, so I'll give you 2 P&Q stores. At $11, a solid $5. At $7, dude, 6.5 at the least. This is a great, very smokable, and I think largely overlooked cigar. You don't hear a lot about this cigar. Next week, I'll review one of whatever you guys send me. So thank you in advance. So, and that's my look at the cigars. So I noticed that you have already poured us our first beer for the show, Ian.
I've been doing what you would generally call research.
From Austin, Texas, and the Jester King Brewery. This is their Hazy IPA. What do you think?
Listen, Jester King is known, especially around here, for their bombers of
for their
of some of the most amazing and outrageous beers.
Some sours, some interesting,
a lot of barrel aging
beers.
Like that. Beers. This as a straight up Citra Mosaic Simcoe HBC 1019 hop hazy India Pale Ale is delicious.
It really is very well balanced.
It's
don't you think?
Super citrusy, but without being super acidic. It's crispy. It finishes well without being pine cone. It's amazing.
What's your take?
Yeah,
James?
it's not pine coney at all. A little light on the body. I like the flavor a lot. It's a little thin for me.
The flavor profile is so good.
It's great.
Yeah,
this is warm weather beer for me.
Yeah, Ian, what's the ABV? I know if we do an IPA first in the show, then generally you're thinking it's not a huge ABV, or we may have
this one's coming at a paltry 6.8.
Oh, so that tells you we got some big ones coming.
Yeah, I don't think that even counts in Russia, right?
That's right. Although, if you think about it, this may not be a good week to have started with 6.8 and only go higher from there, since we're going to be tasting all these still awesome whiskeys.
That's okay. Most of them are overproof, right?
They're all overproof.
Yeah. See, there you go. It's going to be an interesting day. Well, I like this a lot. I think it's very well balanced. You're right. It doesn't have a big mouthfeel to it like some, bigger IPAs will do. But technically, it's not purporting itself to be a double or an imperial.
To be fair, they're not claiming juicy or anything.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah. So I dig it, and I would definitely buy this again.
Yeah, 100%. This is well balanced and delicious. I don't think this would fight a cigar either.
And that's a big deal with an IPA, because a lot of IPAs, including, by the way, we were drinking as our show beer from Lone Pint Brewery, and thank you to those guys.
Rock.
Yeah, and this Yellow Rose IPA that I was drinking for my show beer, I love this, but I generally don't drink it if I'm going to have a cigar at that time. Just a little bit of
just so you know, when I say those guys rock, I mean that quite literally. I went out and watched Blake's band play.
Oh, how were they?
Those guys were actually rocking.
I love it. That's
Yeah. So that's the thing. I guess I screwed myself by starting with Lone Pint. And then, because this, just in comparison, I guess it just didn't hold up for me.
Not quite as big, yeah.
Yeah, because second and third taste was like, oh, this is really good.
So
but the first one felt
the
flat.
problem is Lone Pint is the top of the rock.
I mean,
it sets
so
the bar
good.
pretty high. Yeah.
It's a great IPA.
That IPA is so good. I mean, it's literally world class, and I can only think of about 3 other IPAs that are even in that same class, and that's going to include Ghost in the Machine and Two Hearted Ale.
Yeah, from
90
from
Minute.
those. Yeah.
Like those are the 3 that pop into my head that are even in that category.
Stone.
By the
Stone
way,
IPA.
yeah.
Stone IPA is good.
That's a flawless
By the way,
IPA.
the 90 Minute is from Dogfish Head, and we will be
Yes, it
trying
is.
their brown ale with pumpkin here in just a little bit on the program.
Nice.
So looking forward to that. Let's start talking whiskey. We got James Caronna here from Still Austin Distillery.
I like whiskey.
Why don't you go ahead and let's go ahead and pour some whiskey
Let's
and
do it.
move towards a little tasting. But while you pour, how old is Still Austin Whiskey Company?
There you go.
Get that in there.
Yeah.
So we opened the doors just over 7 years ago for the
Okay.
distillery. That being said, what we're about to try, which is essentially our flagship whiskey, this is called the Musician. It's our straight bourbon. We launched this in 2020.
Okay.
Make whiskey, got to put it in barrels, got to let it age. We didn't want to source whiskey and buy whiskey from other people and pass it off
Which
as our own.
some distilleries do.
Probably 90% when you start out.
Right,
lot
because
of
otherwise you don't have anything to sell.
yeah,
for a
otherwise
while.
what are you
You
doing?
guys didn't do vodka or gin or anything.
We did do a vodka. We do have a gin.
You do have a gin?
We did not do vodka. We didn't source our whiskey. We were selling White Dog, so we were selling unaged bourbon when we first started. So waiting for our whiskey to mature. When it was finally ready to mature, 7 years, cut to 2020, we launched the Musician.
That said, you waited 7 years, and yet most of your whiskeys are not as aged. I want to say this right. They're not as aged as I would expect, given the taste. Based on what I've
fair,
tried.
yeah.
In other words, they taste to my palate, more aged than they probably are. And so,
Is that a Texas climate thing, you think?
As far as why our stuff tastes a little older, I think it's a lot to do with who we are as a company. We do everything a little bit differently. It makes our stuff stand out in the Texas market.
so yeah, how much of that can you talk about the different?
Oh, we're more than happy to talk about everything we do. We're open door. There's a lot to talk about there, right? If we're going to talk about Texas whiskey and specifically what makes ours a little differently, but we're the first distillery to use 100% Texas grain. So we only buy grain that's grown in Texas.
Interesting.
In restaurants, chefs always say what grows together goes together. It makes sense that if you're going to age something in Texas, you would use something that was grown in Texas. That was pretty big with us. We wanted to represent the terroir of Texas.
Right.
So we only use Texas grain. We have about 12 family farms grow all of our grain for us, all in Texas. So that helps. I think those grains are used to the climate here, so they age a little bit better.
So if I'm another Texas distillery and I do source some of my ingredients from outside of Texas, what's the reason that I would do that? More accessibility to them, can get them faster, less expensive? What would be the reasoning to not do it the way you guys do it?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I think they're all more than likely would lead to a less quality whiskey, in my opinion, in Texas. But I mean, yeah, they're way cheaper. We use food grade product. You can buy mass produced, GMO products if you want. You can buy yellow corn out of Indiana or Iowa. They don't make as good of whiskey. You can get, bulk. You can make stuff a lot cheaper, which means you can probably get product to market a little quicker. But again, it's like, you want to take your time and do it right, or do you want to just get stuff out there?
So this is your straight bourbon whiskey.
Straight bourbon.
And what's the percentage on this?
So this guy's be just under 100. It is,
So this is just under 100 proof.
49.2. Just under 100 proof. This
Yeah.
is 70% non-GMO Texas white corn, 25 Texas rye, 5 Texas malted barley.
This is,
On average, about 3 years.
it's very drinkable.
This is
But-
cinnamon.
Yeah, but
and
absolutely.
bubblegum.
A lot of that kind of spice.
It's very drinkable, but yet it has that I am just a little overproofed vibe to it. So it gives you a little bit of that heat on the finish.
But there's no
little bit.
youngness to it.
Not at all. No.
Sometimes you the back of this says at least 2 years old.
Yeah, that's just legal definition of the word straight.
And I get that. I get that. At least 2 years old. And what amazes me is that you guys have only been open so long, and the whiskeys you're putting out are competing with stuff that has many year age statements on it.
Yeah, so I don't want to talk too long about stuff and get really boring for people listening, but essentially in
That's
Texas.
all right. Ian and I are the
You're
hosts.
like, we got it.
So people are used to
That's
that.
our
is what
job.
I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So in Kentucky, they say on average, and hopefully I don't get these numbers wrong and get a bunch of emails on y'all's email about how
don't worry.
wrong
They'll
I was about whiskey.
They'll criticize me instead of you.
Yeah. This is what I've been told is on average on the low end in Kentucky that first year, this is just an average, right?
Mm-hmm.
You lose maybe 6% of your barrel on a high bad year. You lose maybe around 8% of the barrel and then it averages out to about 4% after that. In Texas, we can lose around 12% on the low end and about 18 to 20% on the high end. So that means that barrel interaction, that evaporation, the barrel leakage,
much faster.
almost double. So
You know what that means?
in Texas, you get double the age, you get double the wood interaction. The problem is that you don't get the actual age of time to actually mellow your whiskey out.
Right? Yeah. So you know what that means, by the way, because that's angel share. That means there are more angels in Texas
100%
than in other places. That's what that actually means. And I would go along with that. Oh, so this is, I wonder, what is a bottle of this? This is sort of your baseline spirit, right?
Mm-hmm. This is flagship go-to whiskey. This is our, I don't want to say entry level, but this is the entry level.
And what
does
does it retail for?
Around stores right now, you can get this about 38 to 43.
That's amazing. Nice. That's amazing. That is
great whiskey.
It is
that
great.
Is like in the Buffalo Trace vicinity in terms of pricing, and it's really really good.
It's a little bit next level, but it's just kissing the next level price point, but it's also hitting that next level in depth and character too.
We'll go up a level when we come back. It's
We'll
Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting.
In the beginning.
Ooh, that was good.
That was a good one.
Now you are completely in the Smoking and Toasting sound effect Hall of Fame. Now
He's really done good. The
That's not
pours
bad.
he was doing earlier, the way it was hitting the glass.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
he's-
really.
he's got
He's got a
it going
future
on.
in
Yeah.
sound effects if they still did them like in Disney
Be a Foley artist.
1942.
Yeah, yeah, like in the old radio days where you get the guy reading the script and you get another guy with
The coconuts.
blocks going clunk,
Yeah.
clunk.
I'm going to leave the incredibly lucrative industry of alcohol to make sound effects on podcasts and radio shows.
So let's try this. He rode in on his horse and opened a bottle of whiskey. That works.
That's a good one.
Now, it's not exactly old-timey radio, but Netflix is something we're all familiar with, and Netflix has created some really interesting stuff.
I remember Netflix when they used to send you movies.
Oh yeah,
in the
those
mail.
little red mailers.
They sent
You're
their last one out.
Cool. I think I still have 2 of their DVDs that I never returned.
I heard the Red Box is now just spitting out DVDs because it's closed its doors.
Right.
But a few of them are just around.
If
still.
you walk past a red box, it'll shoot a DVD out at you and go, please
Throws it at
take
you.
this.
Just take it for
No,
free.
but Netflix, I first really started paying attention to Netflix when they did House of Cards. Like that was such a great show. It was so and you hadn't seen anything like it, right? Well, now Netflix is doing a new House of something, and it is from the creator of a show that I have not watched but have heard really great things about called Peaky Blinders. It's been a very successful. Do you watch Peaky Blinders?
It's amazing. How have you not seen that?
I just my to watch list is too long. Yeah,
fair.
I still haven't caught up with the rest of the season of The Lincoln Lawyer, and I haven't watched the rest of The Old Man on FX this year.
You haven't named the show yet that I've watched.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I
any
don't
of
watch
those.
I haven't seen
anything.
those.
Well, I think Netflix maybe has one that you will watch, Ian, because instead of House
Have
of
you
Cards,
watched the Menendez?
no, I haven't, but I've heard it's like amazing.
It's fascinating.
Instead of House of Cards, the working title of this new series is House of Guinness.
Oh,
I have your attention now? Yeah.
The world record
yeah.
people.
So the guy that did Peaky Blinders, a hugely popular show, which
very
you
good.
just said, how have I not watched it yet? He is working on a drama about the Guinness dynasty for Netflix, and that's what House of Guinness is about. It'll delve into the fallout from the death of brewer and politician Benjamin Guinness in 1868. Think Succession, but with beer. So
Nice.
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm there on that. I think I'm there.
I'll
I'm pretty
totally-
much I'm there. Yeah.
Totally watch that. And what should I drink while I'm watching it? I'll have to think about that.
Like a good Miller Lite or
Yeah, exactly.
Budweiser.
Budweiser. Yeah.
Maybe
Bud
some
heavy.
Bud Light Lime.
Yeah.
That would be good. So we are now up to our second Still Austin spirit of the show. And tell us what you have poured here for us, James.
All right, so first whiskey was our Musician Straight Bourbon. This is the cask strength
Wait a
version
second.
of that.
You said musician straight?
The Musician is kind of the name that we call it.
Right.
That is our straight bourbon.
Okay.
This is our cask strength bourbon.
So it's the same mash bill, but this is a
Same mash
little
bill.
bit stronger, huh?
Quite
So
a bit
how is,
stronger.
okay, first off, my question is, how is this stronger? It just is
So smooth, right?
smooth and easy. Like, I can't
I
believe
haven't
it's
even
stronger.
tasted it yet, but my
Wow.
mouth is watering like
Cinnamon roll.
crazy. As soon
Once
as
you
I-
taste it, you'll almost
Cinnamon
be
and
done.
bubble gum on the nose. But wow, this is tasty.
All right, so we're pulling the proof down on these. Moving forward, this is going to be 116 proof. Right now, you guys are drinking the old bottle, which is 59% alcohol. So it's about 118 and a half.
Wow.
So you're getting the old school, a little warmer version.
is a-
Still so smooth.
I
though.
mean, you get
So-
the warm at the very end, but
Just out of
it's so
curiosity,
smooth.
But this has like a powdered sugar on
Steroids?
on French toast kind of.
Yeah.
It's
well,
so
with the
easy.
vanilla.
So
and
my
the-
mom-
oh, it's so good.
My mom, when I was a kid, used to make cinnamon toast. And the way she would make it is basically the piece of bread, butter it, pour sugar on the butter,
Yep.
and then pour cinnamon
Yeah.
on top of that. and
yeah.
that's what this kind of reminds
I didn't
me
realize you grew up poor like I did.
of. Oh,
It
dude.
was amazing.
Dude, we
My
would
favorite breakfast.
My
I
mom
have,
called
I
it-
have had a
we-
mustard and cheese sandwich.
we would eat what my mom called a K sandwich, and it was literally a piece of bread, butter, sugar. That was it.
Wow.
That was a K sandwich. That's how poor we
my
were.
grandfather used to tell me about the times in the Depression, and he used to talk about the jam sandwiches they'd have. You jam two pieces of bread together and eat it.
That's one of those. We used to eat
I
none
believe
of
it.
what?
Yeah,
None of your
exactly.
business.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were kind of bringing the proof level down on some of these. What made Still Austin decide to do that?
All right, so our master blender is a lady named Nancy Fraley, Nancy the Nose Fraley, and she is
Nancy the Nose. I love that.
She is
It's like a character on Tulsa King.
it's
Hey,
a character
I took
on
it
a
to
show
Nancy
you've
the
never
Nose.
seen. A show
Yeah.
you've never seen called Peaky Blinders.
Okay, gotcha.
Bring it back. Okay, so
I like that.
Nancy
Full
Nose
circle,
Fraley,
I love
she's our master blender, and she is one of the best blenders in the world, blending American whiskey. She's also a master cognac blender and an Armagnac blender. But she said that pulling it down, get a little bit more yield out of a barrel, and it tastes just as good. So why not?
I put a tiny splash of water in this, and it like mellowed it just slightly, but didn't take away any of the flavor or allure of this this whiskey. This
It's actually really interesting because a lot of times when you put water, just because I did the same thing, and a lot of times when you put water in, you'll actually get a blossom of flavors. This almost didn't change at all. It just
I agree.
changed the way it hits your palate a little bit.
right. It's not quite
And
as
it actually brings in a little bit of heat sooner at the end of it.
I want to
I would agree with that.
bring up two things real quick. So one, there's a flavor note that no one has said yet. When I say it, I hope this doesn't ruin the bottle for you because you'll never not taste this again. Bell pepper, green pepper.
Wow.
You know, but I love bell pepper and green
Oh,
pepper.
I love
but
it.
Wow,
I'm just saying
no,
that's what you're gonna taste.
I don't think
now.
anything's going to change my feelings of this.
No,
this
no,
is
just-
wonderful.
A Psalm said that to me once, and now I can't not taste that out of the whiskey.
Yeah.
But I love those flavors, so it's fine with me.
Dude, you are right.
But it's heavy there.
You are
Yeah.
right. And I would never have identified that.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
I'm not only okay with it, I think this is wonderful.
This
I
is
really do.
I think this is one of the best bottles we make.
if you can describe certain wines as uric
Mm-hmm.
and still enjoy it,
Or cigars is veiny.
veiny cigars.
Sorry.
Wait till we get to drinking news. You are listening to and watching Smoking and Toasting. Hour 2 of the show is coming up. We do have drinking news coming up in hour 2. We have more from Still Austin to taste. And coming up in our next segment, we're going to be trying this Dogfish Head Brewing Company Pumpkin Ale. It's their brown ale with pumpkin. So I'm really psyched about this. It's not a
Nice.
pumpkin stout. It's a pumpkin brown ale. And we'll get to that next at Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasting. Heard on great radio stations like WGSO, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hells yeah.
I love that, Casey Kasem.
Thank you. That's my bad, Casey Kasem. You want me to talk about a freaking dog dying? I'm sorry. They're eating the dogs. Sorry, I had to go there. My bad. Welcome,
good mashup.
Welcome back. Thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate that. Welcome back to the show. It is Smoking and Toasting, and Ian is pouring us a beer. We're going to get to a beer in this segment, which is the Dogfish Head pumpkin ale. I'm sorry, pumpkin brown ale. That we'll get to in a moment.
It doesn't look as brown as I expected.
No, it actually looks almost amber, doesn't it?
It looks more Marzen or...
Yeah, all right, so as we get ready to taste this, I have a list
Lovely
from the
smell.
AmericanCraftBeer.com
We'll call it Ruddy
website,
Yellow.
of pumpkin beers past and present. Now I want to breeze through these real quick because there's like 25 of them. So some of these are no longer available. Some of them are. Jump in and comment if you know of these or have tried them or like them or don't like them. The first one is Pum King.
That's a great beer.
From Southern Tier Brewing in Lakewood, New York. You've tried Pum King?
Amazing beer. Many times.
Flavors of pumpkin pie, vanilla, and nutmeg, they say. From Southern Tier Brewing Company, Warlock, a dark and rich imperial stout brewed with pumpkins.
Great
Pumpkin ale from Schlafly Beer in St. Louis. From Flying Dog Brewery in Utica, New York, The Fear. It's a dark, rich pumpkin ale. We've had this, Ian. It comes in that black can. It's like a black pumpkin on the can.
Flying Dog, man.
Yeah. Those guys got it going on. Night Owl Pumpkin Ale from Elysian Brewing in Seattle, Washington. Familiar with Elysian, but I don't think we've had Night Owl. Dark O' the Moon, also from Elysian. I just love the title. It's a pumpkin stout. This one we're very familiar with. An Imperial Pumpkin Stout with roasted malts and pumpkin spice. It's Pumpkinator from St. Arnold Brewing Company here in Houston. By the way, I've got a bomber of this standing by for us for I think our week of Thanksgiving shows when we'll do this. So that'll be good. Pumpkin Ale from Dogfish Head Craft Brewery.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that what we're about to try?
Yep.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Ichabod Pumpkin Ale from New Holland Brewing. Atomic Pumpkin from
Nobody
New Belgium.
names their kids Ichabod anymore.
Yeah. Zombie Dust from Three Floyds in Indiana.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Voodoo Ranger Atomic Pumpkin. We've had that one from New Belgium. Spooky Tooth Imperial Pumpkin Ale from Fatheads Brewery. Barrel Aged Frogs Hollow Double Pumpkin Ale from Hoppin' Frog. I love Hoppin' Frog, but I don't think so.
Pumpkin.
Evil Dead Red from Alesmith Brewing Company in San Diego.
I love ales.
Hallow Tide Pumpkin Ale from Carl Strauss Brewing Company in San Diego. I haven't tried this, but I want to. Zombie Monkey from Tailgrass Brewing Company in Manhattan, Kansas.
We had some tailgrass things.
That has two things I absolutely love: zombies and monkeys. You gotta go there if you can.
Now I want a whole movie about zombie monkeys.
well,
I cannot get that.
That's the intro for 28 Days Later.
Yeah, exactly.
Zombie monkeys.
Yeah, zombie monkeys.
Dead Ringer Oktoberfest from Ballast Point. I don't think I've had that. I love Ballast Point.
Ballast Point's great, yeah.
Drinkin' Pumpkin from Cape May Brewing. Dead Guy Ale from Rogue Ales and Spirits.
I love Dead Guy Ale.
Great beer. Witch's Hat from Witch's Hat Brewing. Booberry Ale from Springhouse Brewing Company, which makes me think of Booberry and Count Chocolate.
Yeah, that's right.
Dunkel Fester. Get it? Dunkel Fester from Harpoon Brewery in Boston. I love Harpoon. Used to drink their beer all the time, but I have not had Dunkel Fester. We're going to have to look for that. Scary Jesus Rockstar from Beavertown Brewery in London, England. Oh my God, I want to try that beer. And finally, Nosferatu from Great Lakes Brewing in Cleveland, Ohio. So with that as our prelude, let's try some Dogfish Head.
Cheers.
Pumpkin Ale here, my friends. This
is the pumpkin spice right up front.
Right. Dogfish Head Brewing's Pumpkin Ale. It's a brown ale with pumpkin. And by the way, I don't know that I've ever had any beer from Dogfish Head.
I want to point out, remember that Shipyard one? Remember the Shipyard one that doesn't taste like the pumpkin pie?
Yes.
It tastes like the crust of the pumpkin pie. And that one gets an honorable mention for being that kind of good.
The Shipyard one is, the name's escaping me off the top of my head, but I can still remember the can. It's got like Ichabod Crane holding the pumpkin head.
Yes. Why don't they name kids Ichabod anymore?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem to happen. So what do you think of the Dogfish?
I have 5 kittens. I think one of them's going to be named Ichabod.
It's very good. Dogfish Head is what got me into craft beer, which is what got me into making money, which is what got me into liquor.
Wow.
Which is now why I
So
sell
it's
liquor.
their fault, is what you're
This
saying.
is, they started me on a path of alcoholism. Thank you.
This
Dr.
is a
Ted.
wonderful, wonderful pumpkin beer. Don't you think?
Very good.
It's very good. It's actually so. It's a little thinner in mouthfeel than I was expecting overall,
Yeah, for brown ale.
and it doesn't look like a brown ale at all. It looks more like a Marzen or
Right.
something lagered a little bit, but maybe the pumpkin.
I do
lightens
like
up
that
the
it
color.
doesn't have like a lot of pumpkin beers. It doesn't have that residual like RS like sugar buildup in your throat
Agree, yes.
after
Yes.
multiple sips.
It does, however, have that clove and pumpkin spice kind of thing that lingers, especially on
Yeah.
the retro ale. But it's
But it
pleasant.
almost wouldn't be a pumpkin beer if
Yeah,
it didn't have
it's
that,
But
right?
see, I like that. I have to say, I enjoy that part, the clove and pumpkin spice.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
isn't that
in
what-
there. Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
that's,
that's-
I really enjoy that.
because when we say pumpkin, we really mean like pumpkin pie with all the
Right,
spice
right.
and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
100%, yes.
Yeah,
This would go
absolutely.
so well with a light to medium cigar.
Mm-hmm.
This would be such a nice
Ooh,
like
pair really well.
sitting out on a patio with the fire going.
One of the things that I love about this
got a new
beer
chimenea, by the way.
and other beers like it, you just got a new chimenea.
Yes.
Awesome, dude. I love chimeneas.
I know.
They're like the coolest thing ever. I can't have one on my balcony.
I like to go out and warm up the muscles by chopping up some firewood
Yeah,
on my bandsaw.
yeah.
So nothing gets you all like stoked for it.
What's the ABV on this
Just
one?
running it through the bandsaw.
What is the ABV on this? I know it's more than the IPA.
7%.
Yeah.
All
okay.
right.
All right. So pretty respectable.
Full body brown ale brewed with real pumpkin brown sugar, allspice, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Nutmeg's the one that I was trying to think of earlier. We brew our culinary inspired beers using real ingredients. Every beer has a story rooted in adventurous flavors and creative brewing process. Explore the goodness with every sip.
So let's go ahead and pour the next whiskey.
Yeah, let's drink some rye.
But while we're doing that, let me just mention that these pumpkin ales, and this one in particular, and many others like them, are a big part of the reason that I actually get in the holiday spirit. I don't really get into the holiday spirit until I taste this taste,
yeah.
and that kind of does it for me. So if you guys don't mind, I'm now going to do my rendition of Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas
Oh,
Is You"
good. Yes,
for the rest
yes,
of the
exactly.
for the
Yeah,
rest of
yeah.
the
Rest of the
segment.
show,
here.
yeah.
Show's doing that well. You guys can afford those rights.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Well, it's different when Cruz sings it.
Okay,
There's
fair.
a little, there's a
Is it-
10% change.
it's
I
considered
promise,
parody, which you don't need to pay long.
AI is not going to catch you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They'll never know it was me, and if they do, lawsuits will be aflying, and not because we played the song. Yeah, so it's like okay. By the way, just for the record, and I'll say this now and stand by it for the rest of my life. I have heard that song as many times as I ever need to. I never.
100%.
You're done with
need
that by
to
now. It's,
hear
it's
it
okay.
again.
You're good.
It's all
Once
right.
was
That's
enough,
enough
and that was
internet
too
for
much.
today.
Yeah, I'll just give me Jingle Bells or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll be just fine.
Wow, Jingle Bells. You've
Yeah.
heard that one less.
No, I'm not saying I've heard it less.
I will
I'm
tell
saying
you-
I could still
You can
hear it.
handle it
I will
more.
tell you because we're going to start hearing Christmas music. Like what day is today? Oh, now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's October.
Post
Come on now.
Halloween, yeah.
I will tell you the greatest Christmas music I know of is a Joe Pass album called
You've
Six
told me
String
this
Santa.
Uh-huh.
It is so good. You listen to it all year, it doesn't matter. His version of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, so modal and ridiculous.
Joe Pass is amazing.
So good.
Was amazing.
Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic.
All right. Speaking of fantastic, let's
Cheers.
see what we think about this.
All right, so this is
so what are we drinking?
this
It's
is
the rye,
Still
right?
Austin. We call this the Artist. This is our straight rye. This
Okay.
guy's been on average around 4 years old.
Wow.
100% Brasetto rye.
Just
we
on
use
the
a
nose.
different species than basically 99%,
The aftertaste
90% of ryes on the
this
market.
is so unique.
Well, it's a perfect segue into it because this is very fruity up front and a ton of like clove, cinnamon, allspice on the back.
Totally.
But very like brandy-esque in my opinion up front.
There's something
Because of
on
the fruit, yeah.
aftertaste that I'm not quite putting my
But it's
finger on.
100% rye,
So
basically
good.
100 proof. It's 99. Yeah, I
I'm
get a
gonna
ton
say
of
that
green apple.
Aftertaste, I get mostly clove.
Hey, clove, but there's something in there. There's a little sweetness. Just a little kiss of sweetness in there on the aftertaste that's very different. It's
Out of the lineup of Still Austin, this is probably what I drink the most of.
No
This is
kidding,
my
really?
personal
this
favorite.
is so outrageously different too.
I did notice that of the bottles you brought, this is the first one that
It's empty.
there was just enough left for us to do this, and now
Oh,
it's empty.
he didn't even get. He got like.
Yeah,
I didn't have
taste.
enough to give myself some. It's
This is
very,
wonderful.
very good.
What's this one called again?
We call it the Artist. This is our straight rye.
There's a
Straight
pine,
rye.
I'm a fan of the rye.
Artist.
like a freshly cut pine kind of flavor going on slightly in there too. That's just like not expected, and it's right on the tail end.
Mm-hmm.
What does this bottle go for?
Because usually you taste oak or you taste those oak adjacent flavors, but there's like a slight, almost pine kind of flavor that it's so
I'm with
nice.
you. I'm with you.
We're pulling the price of this down a little bit. So long term, this is going to be the same price as our straight bourbon. So anywhere from 38 to 42, 43.
Love that.
Wow.
It's a little higher right now, but that price is coming down. I like this guy a lot. Most rye on the market uses a specific species of rye. So that's like you're out of Indiana, which is where like most ryes come from. Be like a bruisey. That's the species. It's very sharp, very grain forward, a little thin on the palate, a lot of black pepper. I love that stuff. That's your Rittenhouse, your Colonel E.H. Taylor rye, Old Overholt. That's like classic rye. We use Bracetto, grows in Texas, very fruity, very thick on the palate. It's very like viscous. Ton of green apple is what I get. A lot of cloves.
Green
cinnamon.
apple. There's what I was looking
Lot
at.
of
You
green
nailed
apple.
it. Yeah, you answered Ian's question.
Yeah.
Green apple.
I was searching for it. I was like, it's
Like a Granny Smith almost.
Yeah,
Just
like-
Yeah.
I don't want to like put it in someone's head if they haven't like thought
Because
about it
here's
enough.
the thing,
then
because
that's
it's
all they'll
not
taste,
actually
but-
tart. Like it doesn't come
No, not
across
at all.
tart, but
Right.
the flavor is there.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I'm agreeing with
I'm a
you.
huge fan of this rye. I don't know of anyone else who's using Bracetto, and I don't know anyone who's using 100% Bracetto like we are. This is one of my personal favorites.
This is just really good. And if you're telling me that this is at least about to be retail price in that 38 to 40 area,
Say 40s.
That's amazing.
dude, that's unbelievable.
So far, all of the expressions here have been around $50-ish or whatever, a little less, a little more. But wow, I mean, very affordable for everything.
And that's a big difference again between what we do and what a lot of other Texas people are doing is our stuff's phenomenal, but it's not $80.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right? No,
So,
I get it.
A
Yeah.
kiss of water on this brings up a little bit of cotton candy in it as well.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, that kind of
I haven't
sponge
done-
sugar,
I've got-
that kind of
I don't know if I have enough
just
left
the
in my glass
tiniest kiss.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
to maybe just a drop.
Yeah, I love this bottle.
It is
Oh, yeah.
amazing. I mean, I know I don't have enough left because it's amazing.
So let's talk just for a moment about Texas whiskey. Why do you think that Texas, of all places, has developed enough legitimate whiskeys that it seems to be, you think of
It's
Kentucky, you
becoming
think
its
of
own
Tennessee,
category.
and then you think of Texas almost next, right? Why do you? What is it about Texas that has brought that about, in your opinion?
This is what I always say. Texas is the best state and the best country and the best planet and the best solar system.
Agreed.
I think we've got it. And Houston being the best city in Texas. We're just obsessed with ourselves, aren't we, as Texans? And so I think we've tried. We have a standard I think is higher than most states. There's people say Kentucky pride. That's nothing compared to Texas pride.
I've lived all over the country.
Yeah,
Trust
it
me.
just doesn't exist anywhere
Trust me,
else.
I
and
did
so-
not drive around and see Massachusetts proud bumper stickers
Yeah, no, it
on
doesn't
cars
exist.
when I
With
lived in
big
Boston.
Massachusetts flag and an American
And
flag from the
Boston's,
back of their
Boston's
dually.
wonderful. I love
Yeah.
living there, but there isn't this sense of like, I live in Massachusetts.
Well, people even today think that if it's got to be bourbon, it's got to be made in Kentucky, and it's like, well, it doesn't. That's not the law. So now that people are starting to kind of wake up to what American whiskey is, and specifically American bourbon, which is the official spirit of America, since Texas being in love with itself and being the best state, in my opinion, we're like, well, we could probably do that, and we could probably do it better. So I think people just step their mindset up and step their game up. I think we're on the leading front of making the best whiskey in Texas. In my opinion, it is the best whiskey in Texas. And now I think people they're aiming higher, and mostly they're aiming for us.
My favorite bumper sticker says, I wasn't born in Texas, but I got here as quick as I could. We'll be right back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Ah, nice.
There we
You're getting the hang of this sound effect thing. Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. There's been a lot of hand-wringing about craft beer and the state of the craft beer industry of late, and the fact that a lot of breweries have closed. But I just wanted to give you some positive news in the middle of all that. Not every brewery is closing down. New Glarus Brewing Company.
Oh, they make great beer.
We've had several of their beers on the show before. They're undergoing a $55 million expansion.
Oh,
which I think is just absolutely like totally above board cool. I love that.
Do you like Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal?
I love cinnamon. In fact, Cookie Jarvis is a friend of mine.
Literally one of the best cereals that's ever existed, right?
Yeah.
This smells
It does.
like Cinnamon
You're
Toast
right.
Crunch cereal.
I know
I have it at my
Cookie
house
Jarvis
right
is not Cinnamon Toast Crunch, is he? I mixed up my
No,
cereal
you're
characters.
talking about
Is that from like Cookie Crisp?
Yeah, it was
Crisp,
Cookie
yes.
Crisp. Yeah.
That was Cookie Crisp.
Yeah. I got confused.
Which, you know
like
what? Not
if
far
you
off.
if you had alcohol in your Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal,
See, I
this
can
is what it
actually.
smells like.
You know what? I actually
It's
do
pretty
smell
amazing.
a little
Yeah.
of the Cookie Crisp in this. Actually, to tell you the truth.
All right, so same rye we were currently drinking. This is the
Except-
cast strength version. It's 116 proof version.
Okay, this rocks.
Wait, what's
good, right?
amazing is this is actually less heat.
Really? I think. Well, we've been drinking a lot, but I think this is. I think this is the out
Either
of
that or
the
I have like
the four
palate fatigue.
Still Austin whiskeys that we sell, like core line. I think this has the most bite of all of them.
I just think it's wonderful. The
is.
flavor is so robust, like, and maybe that's why you're thinking it doesn't have as much of a bite, Ian, because it just the flavor is just so good.
So bite and heat are different. Heat is that warm whiskey hug that you get after you take the swallow, right? This has very little of that, and it takes a while for it to even come back. Bite is right up front. This has that crisp.
Right.
You mentioned green
This
apple
is
earlier.
smooth and easy.
This
up
has
front,
almost like that crisp, punchy bite right up front, and then just smooths out and becomes this creamy cinnamon thing.
And the
cinnamon
retrohale-
and oak,
the
like
retrohale,
oak all day long.
the retrohale has me wanting to go back into the package and see which baseball cards I got.
Yes,
You know
the
what I'm saying?
bubblegum note is strong on
It's
this
like,
one.
it's like, oh, Shohei Ohtani, awesome. Oh, Roger Clemens, screw him. So
Yeah, all the spice really comes
got
through a
Nolan
lot
Ryan.
more on this guy. So you get
And a
that same
steak
kind
with
of
his name on it.
cinnamon spice, baking spices, that sort of thing. On the finish on this comes through a lot more.
yeah, big time.
Yeah.
This is absolutely delicious. And what
bottle.
does this bottle retail for?
Around the 60s.
Wow.
Probably
Still-
60, 61
Still
maybe.
amazing.
I keep
Yeah.
waiting for him to just have one of these bottles. It's just $120.
Not yet.
Well-
End of this year.
So this is
So interesting enough, I put a touch of water in this.
yeah.
It elevates the bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
It elevates the cinnamon, but it also adds a little even more bite. like
Really?
you said.
You said that before about one of the other expressions that the water added a little more heat to it.
Doesn't add heat; it adds bite.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little heat in this that I'm like. It's there. The whiskey hug is there, but it doesn't come back.
I think
like
you get the
big and strong.
high alcohol content can add like a really drying effect on your palate.
Yeah.
I kind of get that drying effect that happens on this.
Okay.
Like it literally just feels like it's drying your palate out.
Well,
a
it's
bit,
like an oak
but it's not. It
astringency
doesn't
kind of thing.
burn. It's not like drinking Elijah Craig like barrel proof or whatever. Like it's not that intense. But yeah,
Although that's a wonderful intense.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with
it's a
that.
good intense. I made the mistake of shooting that once, just thinking it was like, oh, it's some regular whiskey. Guy handed it to me. Yeah, that hurt.
Ooh.
Yeah, that
rough.
We'll do it.
Well, this has definitely got a little bit of a whiskey hug that will linger. Because I'm still experiencing it now.
But the oak linger is so.
It's more of a whiskey cuddle, a little
Yeah.
softer,
Yeah.
a little spooning, whiskey spoon, maybe.
Maybe a little sporked because it's
Yeah.
got a little bite to
There's
it.
a little bit in it. Yeah.
By the way, greatest animated character of all time, Forky.
Oh yeah.
Forky
is the great.
I love Forky.
Yeah, the greatest animated character
love
of all
Forky.
time. I didn't think anybody would ever top Bugs Bunny. Forky is even cooler. Than
I've
Bugs
watched
Bunny.
the entire series of Forky Asks a Question.
Yeah. Oh, they're
it's nice.
great.
Yes.
They're great. They absolutely are. This is absolutely wonderful, and it makes me wonder what you've saved for after this because.
We have a special bottle coming.
Wow.
Oh,
It's coming up right
kind of,
next.
it's kind of an exciting sort of a tease,
Yeah.
if you will.
I will say, not to make this into a work thing for me, but key points I think that make Still Austin really special is, again, we make all of our whiskey in Austin, Texas. We've always done that from day one. We've never sourced whiskey from anybody else. We use 100% Texas grain. We're not cutting corners, full 53-gallon standard American charred oak barrels across the board. We age everything ourselves. We get whole grains in, we mill it, ferment it, distill it on site. We age it just south of Austin, and then we bottle it ourselves just north of Austin.
I will just say this is one of the better proofs that I can think of for not taking shortcuts, because every one of these expressions has been so.
And so
good.
that's the point I'm talking about. You can do things quicker, faster, easier. You can use different size barrels to get different effects.
Can I add in there real quick?
Climate control things. We just do it old school Kentucky, just with Texas flair.
For the price too. I mean, for the price, all of the stuff you're saying, all of the stuff that's making it, sourcing only Texas grain, stuff like that, keeping the price down. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I want to point out that still Austin still baffles me in that as young as your whiskey is, like you guys started, like you first started bottling in what, 2000?
It would have been, I mean, we started the
2021,
distillery about 7 years ago.
Right.
We were selling White Dog. The whiskey you're having now, we started bottling 2020.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And-
so
and-
good.
and
And
it's-
such a young distillery making such good whiskey, just
Yes.
crushing it in the market.
Texas climate, everything that we do, the processes we do that we haven't talked about yet, I think we've just found a good sweet spot that it doesn't need to be
And right, and this is
10 years old
why I would
to
encourage.
be as good.
Is the Rick House outside of Austin?
We're in Staples, Texas,
Staples,
near
Texas.
Lockhart. That's
Because
where
you have
barrel everything.
you have a spot in Austin proper.
We have a
that's-
distillery. Yeah, that's where we distill everything.
That's where you distill
We didn't
everything.
want the. And I think Nancy specifically and the team in general didn't want barrels breathe, right? So oxygen, air is allowed in and out of the barrels. They expand and contract. We didn't want that near city smog. So they're out in the country. We lease space from a farm. Guy builds metal buildings for us. We have 6 now full of whiskey. We're sitting on a little over 13,000 barrels of whiskey now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
So
talk
we got
about
some
that.
new things coming
might
in
have
the
to go
future
look at
and
that.
good
Yeah.
reasons for you to come back on.
Talk about that.
A lot
when-
of cool stuff.
when we come back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting.
What you thinking? That guitar tone's particularly good.
That's not what I was thinking, but okay. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. We are glad you're here. We love all of those things. We are really enjoying some fine spirits today from Still Austin. But it's time to take a break from all of that and bring you the most popular segment on this program. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Drinking News.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news, drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to bring my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. Welcome to Drinking News. It's the portion of the program where we bring you a story from the news, real, not a parody story, but a real story, sometimes more than one. And these are stories that, while they are sometimes, but not always about drinking, they are always best enjoyed if you've been drinking.
Boy, have
and we
we.
got Still Austin in the house, and we have been. Today's episode of Drinking News is brought to you by Science. Yes.
Science.
That's
stuff.
right. Science. You know,
They blinded me with.
the sworn enemy of QAnon. And I'm going to celebrate this sponsorship by taking a quick moment to drop just a little bit of science on your asses. All right? The thing that is so awesome about science is that it's constantly updating itself. New discoveries continually force
Remember when
scientists.
eggs were bad for you?
Yeah. The new discoveries continually force scientists to amend and adjust their theories about how things work instead of remaining locked into beliefs that no longer hold true. That's the beauty of science.
The Earth is flat.
And they're still discovering living things that we didn't know existed. In fact, German scientists doing research
Chupacabra.
in Madagascar, the island, not the animated movie, they've recently discovered 7 new species of tree frogs.
King Julian.
Now, why are we mentioning this here on Drinking News? Well, apparently these frogs don't make the normal frog-like ribbit sounds. They instead communicate with a series of bird-like whistles that sound a lot like the sound effects used on Star Trek.
Nice.
So the scientists, in their excitement over the discovery, have named these 7 species of tree frogs after 7 legendary Star Trek captains. The new species are, in no particular order, Kirk, Sisko, Janeway, Picard, Archer, Burnham, and Pike.
Yeah, that's not in any order because it would be Kirk and Picard first always.
This drinking news moment of awesome has been brought to you by science. And in case you wonder if it's relevant, the fact is that yes, I was drinking when I first found out about it. And yes, I thought it was really cool. And no, that's not a phaser in my pocket. And yes, I am happy to see you.
Wait, are you wearing a red shirt?
Thank you all for allowing me to let my geek flag fly for just a moment there. And now on to our main story here on Drinking News.
Wait, that wasn't it?
No.
I would have been good with that.
Our main story is a report that has prompted me to remind you of the advice that I believe that we've shared here on the show before, but if we haven't, we should have. 3 suggestions for a happy and productive life. Never go to a party thrown by Diddy. Do not,
Well, unless you're into that sort of thing.
do not spend a lot of time in Florida.
Unless you're into that sort of thing.
And always clear your search history.
There you go.
Unless you're into that sort of thing.
The man in our story today failed 2 of these 3 important things and is now sitting in a jail cell in Escambia County. Yes, that's right.
So, yeah, if you want to go to jail, please pick 2.
That is right. A Florida man.
Florida man.
20-year-old Jeremy Lang was arrested by Pensacola police and has been charged with a few violations of the law. 1 motor vehicle burglary, 3 charges of larceny, 5 criminal mischief charges, and 5 separate burglaries of a church. Now, I don't care whether you're religious or not. I think you'll agree that there's just something really low about robbing money from a church. I mean, if you're going to steal, leave the houses of God out of this and take money from somebody who won't miss it, like Elon Musk or an insurance company.
Or Joel Osteen.
Actually, on second thought, don't take it from an insurance company. They'll just raise my rates to compensate for their loss. Again. Jake from State Farm, I am looking in your direction. But that's not important right now. What allowed cops to strengthen their case against our church-robbing Florida man was what they found on his phone. The officers took a look at his search history, which revealed a couple of interesting bits of research that had been done by our Florida man.
No.
www.howtorobachurch.com.
He had apparently Googled events.
Or is it .org? I'm sorry.
It's .org in that case.
He had apparently Googled events where you raise money, Pensacola. How to cut shirt into mask. And most tellingly, where do church keep money?
Where do church money?
Nice.
Lang is being held without bond in a Florida jail.
Thank you for putting it exactly.
I
as
now
the-
want a T-shirt that just says that.
Where do church keep money? You have to admit, where do church keep money is a pretty embarrassing thing for cops to find in your search history.
Huh.
But it's certainly
Certainly what
not,
he's been looking for.
it's certainly not the most embarrassing thing. As a matter of fact, our team of awkward riders here at Drinking
Is
News.
it also what is glass bottom boat?
Yeah. Our team of awkward writers here at Drinking News, i.e. me, have come up with a few examples, which I will now ignore the advice of my psychiatrist and share with you here in the form of another Drinking News Top 5 list. This would be the top 5 things that would be more embarrassing if someone found them in your Google search history. Top 5 things more embarrassing if they were found in your Google search history. Number 5, best pants to wear with adult diapers. Number 4,
Get back into life.
where can I buy front row tickets for Carrot Top?
Egad.
Number 3, Where can I find extra small condoms? Number 2, what are the full lyrics to Achy Breaky Heart? And the number 1 thing more embarrassing to have in your search history. Number 1, best treatment for rash in groin area. Reporting live from the jungles of Madagascar, where I've got to go because I just heard a Star Trek sound, and I think that Captain Kirk is trying to tell me, weave. God. To get out of here.
You're not wearing a red shirt, are you?
My name is Cruz, and that is your...
Drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
I don't know about you.
Have you read the book Red Shirts by, I think it's Scazali?
No, I haven't, but I love the whole red shirt
You 100% should read that.
I
It's
love
so
the
good.
whole red shirt thing. That's just awesomeness.
Where are my ears? I want my ears.
I was hoping the frog story was going to be that they made beer.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that be great?
man.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I mean, there's something about licking frogs too, right?
Oh, you get really high.
yeah, apparently so. And imagine licking a Madagascar tree frog named Kirk.
Named Kirk.
What would you would immediately start speaking in an interesting pattern of speech. Damn it, Scotty, man, I need more power.
That guy's amazing.
He is.
Thank you for being part of my song.
William Shatner is my favorite bad actor of all time.
Oh,
I
great.
love
Excellent.
me some Shatner. All right,
good.
let's drink. What do we got here, Ian? This is the barley wine, isn't it?
I've been drinking. Sorry.
All right. This is the
I've been doing what you call research.
Lumberbeard Brewing Year 2 Anniversary Ale, which is a bourbon barrel
Look,
aged
this
barley
is so
wine.
good. I actually want to put a little bit of it on my nipples, and they're not even sensitive. All right, like this is
Wow, you should see the
so
YouTube
good.
version of the show right now.
That's right. That's right. You know how we pour,
You can see that
show
in a
you
picture?
different
No, I'm not.
examples? Yeah.
Adam, you're
yeah.
gonna have to blur that.
Adam, please blur that. No, this is a barley wine ale.
Lumberbeard Brewing Anniversary Ale Year 2 Bourbon Barrel Aged Barley Wine.
Where are
You
they
know I
from?
love barley wine. You had me a barley wine.
Yeah.
Barley wines are so good. I will drink them floating down a river. I will drink them at home.
I will drink them in the
on a
box.
boat.
I will drink them with a fox.
I would drink them.
I think we all thought the same thing.
Yeah, at the same time immediately.
I kind of went into it at the same time you guys did. I love barley wines. I so
This
miss
is
it.
a
You
really-
mentioned
this is a really
Flying
good
Dog earlier.
Yes.
Flying Dog used to make a barley wine called Horn Dog.
Oh, I like that.
And it was amazing. You used to be able to just buy it in a 6-pack. Now, this is 15, maybe even 20 years ago.
a 6-pack of barley wine sounds like
Yes.
that would have been a long time ago. Yeah.
And it was so good. I love barley wines, and this is fantastic. This is delicious.
This is from the Lumberbeard Brewing Company in Spokane, Washington. And my understanding is
This
that
is raisin and date. If you accidentally poured this between 2 pieces of wood and left it for 30 minutes, you will never get them apart.
Lumberbeard may have done that. My understanding, by the way, is that in Spokane, Washington, it is one of the few cities in the United States where there are more adult males who live there that have beards than those who don't.
Hey, man, beards are cool.
Yeah,
Especially lumberbeards.
yeah.
You don't know anything about that.
No.
He knows a little bit about that.
I'm halfway there.
I've had a beard before. I've had a beard before. I shaved mine when it became all white. That was when I was like, yeah, maybe.
I watched. I think it was on A Good Mythical Morning. There was a comedian on there, and she was talking about how she had this beautiful head of brown hair,
Yeah.
and then the white hairs came in and gentrified it.
That is super
Oh,
true.
it was hilarious. And she goes, and I wasn't too upset about it until they moved downtown.
Nice.
That's funny. That's
not
a
And then
good
she said, "There's still some good eating down there."
Jeez.
It seems like a good time to have some more whiskey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We need a rim
Whiskey,
shot
yeah,
effect
yeah,
there somewhere.
for sure.
But
All right, so let's see what else we got. You got, is this the Monster Mash?
I brought some Monster Mash.
All right, so
it was a
since we-
graveyard smash.
since,
Yeah, this-
since we love ourselves some Halloween around here, and we've all got residual candy,
Survived,
and survived.
hopefully.
Let's do some Monster Mash, shall we? Now, what is exactly
Monster Mash.
while you're pouring? What is Monster Mash?
Monster Mash is a graveyard smash.
That much I knew. Yeah. I also know how
I had
quickly
to.
it caught on.
It caught on so
With a
fast.
flash.
Yeah.
Everyone was doing it. I can't remember the rest of the lyrics. Sorry.
It caught on in a flash.
I know all of them, unfortunately.
That's fair.
I worked in radio, and you played it like every 15 minutes this time of year, or at least a few days ago this time of
I'm
year.
usually jamming a Werewolf Bar Mitzvah
Dude.
during Halloween.
Werewolf Bar
Anybody
Mitzvah.
gets that reference?
Yeah.
Halloween
just me.
surfboard.
I don't, but this gives me
Well, 30 Rock.
appropriate opportunity
Yeah. Oh, that
to,
was the 30 Rock one.
Yeah.
Mine was Superstore.
Oh, yeah.
but still the greatest Halloween song
This
ever.
is like
is
brown
Werewolves of
sugar
London
and
by
French
Warren
toast
Zevon.
right here.
Oh, yeah. That is.
For me, the best Christmas album of all time is always The Postal Service. It's not a Christmas album, but it's a perfect winter album. It's the best. Just think about Christmas when you're listening to it.
great heights.
Every October, we release a bottle called Monster Mash.
Okay, yeah. Why is it Monster Mash?
No,
Just
Monster
because
Mash.
it's October themed?
It's a weird mash bill. That's why.
Okay.
It's
I love
weird, crazy stuff. It's nowhere near what we normally do. Our mash bills are pretty normal, I would say. Like they're
It
not
was a still
wild.
Austin smash.
Exactly. This is a blend of white corn, which we typically use, winter hawk wheat, rye, malted barley, and malted rye blended together. We release a different one every Halloween. So yeah, this is last year's Halloween.
So now I get it.
This is really good though. Like it is very different tasting from your from the other things that we have sampled here, but I love the complexity of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me want to ask the question: whatever happened to my Transylvanian twist?
There's that.
Apparently, it's now the mash.
It's the mash.
No, Monster
It's the
Mash.
mash.
The whole character of this. So first off, the amount of body on this is so much bigger.
You're right. That's a good point. It is bigger.
Like
Yeah, right?
the whole mouthfeel is so big compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on the other ones. It's just
No,
this
not
is
at all.
monstrously big.
Would it be weird if I said this was my favorite of the whole day so far?
No, it's just saved it for last.
It's really, really
I
good.
love it.
Ooh.
I absolutely love it.
We made 474 bottles of this. That's it.
And what does it
Wow.
retail for?
0. You can't
You
get this.
can't get this.
Oh, you
And
can't?
this year's, he
Oh.
mentioned it before the show. This year's, I got the email,
Yeah.
and apparently by the time I closed the email and decided, maybe not, that it was already sold out. You said
Oh,
it sold out
man.
in 3 minutes.
Oh, so y'all did
From-
sell it.
We sell it, but we only sell it at our distillery. So you can buy it online, but you got to pick it up in Austin.
Okay.
We put this online, available for people to buy. It's about $110 to $120 a bottle, and it sold
I
out
think
in
it was 120.
3 minutes
Wow.
per Still Austin.
Wow.
Wow.
Wild.
Absolutely
Worth
love it. By the way, look over there.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, how much? I got about $90 worth of liquor in this bottle.
We'll be right back at Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back at Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Today's show is number 404, and we are thrilled to have James Caronna from Still Austin Distillery on the program with us.
Thank you.
He has poured some amazing whiskey, not the least of which is the Monster Mash.
It's a graveyard smash.
It's
We
actually
did the mash,
this
yeah.
is actually my favorite of
It's
all. the
really
whiskeys.
good.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
It's good, right?
They've all been good, but I think this is my favorite. There's just an additional layer of complexity here that
Yeah.
I think, and I dig that. Now, Ian, before we go, one of the things we love to do when we get some really good spirits here on the show is to go back and forth a little with whatever our biggest beer was. So our biggest beer in this case was the Barleywine from Lumberbeard Brewing.
So first off, when you're going from the Monster Mash, which is
Yeah.
pretty big, to the barley wine, it makes it taste a little like prune juice.
it's not necessarily a good thing.
Well, it's not even totally bad. It just
But
kind
it'll
of is
clean
a
you out.
thing.
Yeah.
However,
set you
the
right.
barley wine is so freaking good that by the second sip of the barley wine,
Yeah. What I'm more interested in is going
you're
back.
back to that delicious, amazing, malty, ridiculous barley wine that we had.
So what I'm more interested in is going back from the barley wine.
Thank you, Lumberbeard. By the way, Lumberbeard, send me some of this. This is so good. So good.
I'm interested in your thoughts going back from the barley wine to the Monster Mash.
You know, I started drinking the barley wine. I just kind of want to stay there.
I think the whiskey made the barley wine easier to drink.
Oh, It turns it into a vanilla bomb.
Yes, and I love that. That's like one of my favorite things in all of spiritdom is
A spicy vanilla bomb.
Uh-huh.
Wait, it's
I
developing.
know.
That's a long after. Like, yeah,
Yeah, a spicy. Oh,
keeps going.
I'm doing this
Good
again.
Lord.
yeah. Yeah, it's very spicy on the end now.
I'm doing this again. This is one of my favorite pairings that we've done in a long time.
It doesn't clear the palate quickly, man. Like it lingers for a while. Damn, it's good.
You got me wrapped around your finger. You have to let it linger.
Is that a sixpence?
Yeah,
My best friend just opened for them.
this is good. This is really, really good.
So you're a singer-songwriter yourself.
Yep.
How do people get to hear what you do?
No one does. If you look at my Spotify play, no one hears what I do. It's on Spotify under James Caronna. Again, just sad white guy music. So if you like listening to sad music whilst being depressed and drinking Still Austin, I'm 3F3.
You're the man.
I'm
You're
pretty
the man.
much
Right,
anywhere
right.
with
nailed it.
drinking Still Austin.
I'm
going
totally
there.
down with
Yeah,
this,
I'm
just so you
going
know.
down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
James
sometimes
Caronna
I'm in
on
that mood.
Spotify.
Sometimes I catch myself listening to that first Counting Crows album. I'm like, oh,
It's a great record.
it's great,
Very
but
good.
man, things are getting dangerous in here.
It's getting a little sad. A couple whiskeys in, you're like, oh man, I'm contemplating stuff I shouldn't be thinking about.
I
I'm
agree.
just saying, you know,
Yeah.
then you got to go to Big Head Todd, and you're like, okay, by the second album, you're like, oh, okay, things are getting tight.
Big Ed Todd. That's just great stuff.
So
Oh,
good, so
oh
good.
my God.
I can't say it. I can't say I know it. Apologies.
Oh, okay. So the albums, Big Head
But-
Todd and the Monsters,
How about
and
and
then,
the Monsters? Do you
and then
know?
Stratagem.
And the Monster Mash.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
Pair that up.
But you can improve your mood if you jump from there to Amos Lee.
Amos
Wait,
Lee.
gets happier with Amos Lee?
Yeah.
His first album?
Yeah.
That is a good album.
Great album. Oh,
So good.
yeah.
But tell me you can't listen to Windows Are Rolled Down and feel better about life in general.
That's
Right?
fair.
I'm just saying.
Amos Lee. Yeah,
This
good
is
one.
the last segment of the show, so it's when
See,
we can make any bizarre reference.
I have
that
a-
we
You want,
want.
yeah.
I have a
Most
14
obscure reference.
Sometimes we talk about Nicolas Cage.
I have a 14-year-old daughter. It's all Sabrina Carpenter, Billie Eilish. You know, it's all that.
It could
Olivia
be,
Rodrigo.
It could be a
You know,
lot
I've
worse.
had to
It could
teach
be a
that
lot
song
worse. For
as
all
a-
of those industry plants you just named,
As
Yeah.
a
it could
guitar
be a
teacher,
lot worse.
I've had to teach that song Espresso
Espresso. Okay,
Nice.
listen.
quite a number
I
of
just,
times.
She's
and-
so good.
Have
And
you
she
seen,
says, "That's that me."
Okay. No, have you seen?
me.
Have you seen the Ariana
Espresso.
Grande
What does that
version?
mean?
Have you seen the bit on Saturday Night Live where
Don't
they
ask
sing
questions.
Espresso? Have you seen that?
No,
if you
I
have
don't think I
not,
have not.
it is absolutely worth seeing. It is probably
Okay.
one of the best SNL bits in a while.
I'm going
It's
to totally
great.
check that out.
Yes, you have
that's
to on
good.
that one,
That's
yes.
good.
I
like
will
it.
say, if you go back 10 years ago, what was in the top 10, you'd be significantly more disappointed than what is currently in the top 10.
That's
at least,
true.
at least these
actually-
people can
That's
sing.
true.
Well, that's actually the first time I've heard anybody say that.
It's
so
called
elaborate.
auto tune.
Legit. Well, no. Here's the difference. So you guys know Rick Beato, great dude
Yeah,
out
I
of
know
Atlanta.
Rick
So
Beato.
he does his top 25 breakdown, and man, he just did the most recent one. And I think Sabrina Carpenter. I've never even heard of this human up until like a month ago. She has 5, I think, in the top 25 right now. But I'm like,
but Sabrina
blah blah
Carpenter-
blah. But then
but
I look her up
Sabrina
and I'm like,
Carpenter can
she
sing.
can sing. She's so
Yeah.
good.
No, she can sing.
I hate the chaperone stuff as well, but I'm like, that's poppy and catchy.
It
It's
is
so
poppy.
good.
Yeah.
Pink Pony Club.
Dude, it's
I just-
Billie Eilish and her brother are the most talented that have come out in the last 20
One of my
years.
students
Phineas.
brought up a band called DC Fontaine.
Yeah.
They got a song called Bug. It's really good. It's like super catchy and ridiculous. It's very Britpop kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. So I want to close with this because we have just enough time for me to tell this story. The company that I own here, that owns Smoking and Toasting, we do streaming audio channels for different brands and businesses and companies. And one of the companies that we do a channel for had a Discord channel recently that wanted to do a K-pop music channel. So we put together a K-pop music channel, and we put together also one that was kind of a mix of K-pop and J-pop that was geared towards anime fans. And in sourcing the music for both of these, we came across some lists of music, and one of the artists, and Terry can join me here because he was part of this.
I was the one who's got to source them.
One of the artists that we were sourcing music for, the artist name was all in was
Japanese.
Japanese or Korean?
It was Japanese.
It was in Japanese. So the artist name was in Japanese. So Terry was working sourcing the music, and just for fun, he ran those Japanese characters.
Well, we can't put them in the same computer because if you put it in Japanese, it really messes with the computer system that delivers your music.
Right. So you needed an
English name.
So you ran it through Google Translate, yes. And it translated as
Toilet Bound Boy Band.
Toilet Bound.
And
boy you're band. Not making this up.
No, this is absolutely true.
That's legit. And by the way, if you don't believe me, Google Toilet Bound Boy Band, and you will find the band we're talking about.
That's just the way they name themselves in English on their YouTube channel.
Toilet Bound Boy Band. I got to tell you, that's as good a way as I can think of to end the program. Yeah. So, wow. I got to tell you, this whiskey was so good on this show. Even though we landed on Toilet Bound Boy Band, what a great show. Still, Austin, I can see why people are kind of like gunning for you.
It's going
You
well.
guys have got it going on.
Well,
congratulations. And thanks for all the great whiskey.
Wonderful
and thanks
stuff.
for being on the show. We appreciate it. And as we like to say at the end of the program,
there you go.
Cheers, y'all.
It's alright when it's okay.